Alright. Fallout 4. Nah. Sorry about the little breathing I heard come through my headset. Alright. Things that I want to talk about. Alright. They redone the whole game. They redone everything. But so far, I think there's going to be like a different story to everything. Like, of course, there's going to be. I mean, if you look at the trailers, you see mud crabs, like, well, not mud crabs, but cloakers, fucking super mutants, and dog meat 2.0, and death claws, and Brotherhood of Steel. Alright, there's a lot of new features to the Brotherhood of Steel, and it's mostly you killing them. You see it through the whole game, but I'm not trying to explain why that your main character is killing the Brotherhood of Steel. Well, you see at the beginning, you see the American Army and the Brotherhood of Steel armor, which probably was meant for the Army at the time, you know. Yeah. But you see them all holding them up at the fence. Well, they get through somehow, and they're all like outside the vault. Because of them, all of his family died right there, or somewhere else, or in the coma, or in military bases, even a ghoul. All right. So he wakes up from 200 years later. Or she wakes up from 200 years later, depending on what gender you've been. So you come up out of the vault. You come over here, see the wasteland. You wander around and junk like that. But the thing is, I think there's going to be like a little bit of new currency. There's still going to be bottle caps and junk like that. But I mean, like, everything has its uses now. Like coils and junk like that, copper. All this wiring, even build your own towns. You shows them picking up the tires, and it breaks it down into parts, so you can build more stuff. There's settlements and junk like that, and they want to bring the whole Fallout vibe back. They had mods for that junk, and they're like putting the mods in the game. Not necessarily, not for real. But there is going to be console mods in the future for Xbox One. Not confirmed for PS4 yet. But once Xbox One's going to do it, then PS4's going to do it. But they're probably going to only do it on Fallout exclusively. Well, if you take a look in the wasteland, you know something. The super mutants are not that big in Fallout 4. Except in Fallout 4, there's these big super mutants, and they're called Megadons. There's not Megadons, but something like that. It takes so long to be in super mutant, you get bigger and bigger and bigger. But in this one, they're not as big as they were in Fallout 3. In some cases, in Fallout 4. There wasn't that many ones in Fallout 4, but in Fallout 3, they were huge, gigantic. They downgraded that a lot. I'm just wondering if it's a different genetic, or is it like just the way they made the game now. And you notice the super mutants are more talking to each other and communicating and not yelling "die" in your ear. So I'm thinking that they might have some intelligence, like they have some intelligence, but more human-like. But not all of them are like, oh, let's just give up a faction. They're like raiders, you know? I think there's gonna be like huge factions of like super mutants and humans and combined, and maybe even ghouls. You know, we're gonna see some different factions. But there's also a different like thing to it, saying where they're even dumber than they were in Fallout 3, which is not that good. because pretty much that's just shoot you on sight, like pop. So there's that too. Well, it sounds like when you start up the game, they give you traits, like a straight chance of getting like a Banyan. Dogmeat 2.0. Dogmeat 2.0 is dog meat's litter. Supposedly. It's like it's dog meat's babies.
Oh, what's up, Xavier?
And while they're having a voice character play the parts, which is problematic because every time they have a DLC, they're gonna have to hire the same guy to talk in the DLC. That's gonna probably take less time from like creating the game itself. And the dialogue boxes, that's gonna suck balls. Because the dialogue boxes are like, you click on it and it doesn't tell you the whole thing. So you're just like, yeah, I just want to tell them, yeah, I did that, but you don't want to tell them like all of it, you know what I mean? And you can't just, when you click it, you don't have any choice. But the way they set up sounds pretty airtight, but because it just tells you what you think you're gonna say from the dialogue anyways. It just gives you a summary. But I don't like summaries. Alright, I like the real thing. I want to see what my guy's completely saying from day one. Because it's hard sometimes to get stories. I'm wondering if you're a villain or a good guy, if your voice changes in a way. Like you get more sinister, you start getting a little bit more psycho-ish when you're talking, and the summaries become like, they summarize what you're gonna say, but like in a sinister way. Like he says it differently, like evilly. And then if you're good, he says it nicely. Like, I wonder if there's problem. If you're neutral, you're just like, oh yeah, I know, and just like stuff like that. But when you're bad, he's just like, well, you know, I fucking. You say it straight up, and probably even pop the guy afterwards, maybe. Maybe like you're in talking and your karma's down low. Your guy will say something like, in the middle of conversation, piss the guy off just naturally. You know how like assholes piss off people naturally. I think that's gonna be worked in somehow too. But one thing I want to talk about is vehicles. You see, you can like, the armor is now like a vehicle in some way because it comes around your skin and everything else like that. You like hop into it. You literally hop into it and you're pretty much driving, you know what I mean? It gives you more speed. You can fly in some scenarios and some jetpacks and stuff like that. But I also noticed there's this big bulky armor, which you're like a tank. And there's this thin armor, which I'm wondering if that plays effect. If you're trading speed for strength, like, yeah, strength, speed, and like weight. If you go slower with the armor being like weighted down, or with the like barely anything on there, it's just like it's just the power itself. Like it's not any armor on there, it's just the power itself, where you can just fly, run, and you can just get out of there anytime you want. I'm wondering if we're working like that, because you'd be like the Flash. Alright, let's say this is you in the power armor running like with all the heavy on there, like you're heavy and you're running, you're just like maybe even slower, maybe like, wait, let me go to good speed. Alright, maybe around this speed. Alright, then when you take down armor a little bit, you move like this, you know what I mean? Like you slowly get faster. But when you don't have any of it, you're just like flying, you know, flying really fast and make traveling easier. I also see the hoverboard, the gyrocopter, whatever, like the chopper. sort of wondering if when you call that in, you have to do missions on the side where, or quests on the side where you have to clean out this area so you don't get shot down. I just want to see how it is. There's destruction in the maps. Mild destruction in the maps. I think it's gonna be mild. I don't know if this is gonna be full out. Like, you blow a hole in a wall, you can like shoot down a fucking skyscraper. I don't know if it's gonna be like that. And it seems like the fat boy, like, can destroy anything on like trailers, but it's pretty much all I want to talk about. And tell me what you want to see in the comments, and I'll try to read it when I have enough time. Wrong button.